Let's see if it works.
All right. Let's get into it.
Well, wait a minute. Until people get in here. Oh, it works. See? There's on Twitch.
Yeah.
And then... Don't know why I just got an ad. Didn't I turn ads off?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Perfect. And then YouTube.
You didn't start recording yet, did you?
No.
Yo, what's good, Rise? What's good? About to get into some predictions for the week, go over some last week's games, what we found interesting, what we got coming up for this week.
So on YouTube as well.
We're live on YouTube as well. You pin that in the chat.
Yeah, I'm going to pin that in the... I'm going to pull up the YouTube stream real quick. Y'all go drop it a follow, or go drop a sub on there. Here. Twins College Football Show. Was good, trendy, as you can see here. I'm going to pin it here. Sorry, you're going to hear a little bit echo for a second. Done. And then I'm going to go on Twitch real quick. And I'm going to pin this. Yeah, kind of to give you all an insight onto what we're doing a little bit.
Yeah.
I've always been passionate about college football.
A little too passionate.
A little too passionate, to be honest, as y'all can tell by my
Twitter.
And so I was always wanting to switch up the type of content I did as I got kind of done with gaming. It just didn't hit the same anymore for me. Not as fun over time. And I decided it's about time that I do something I like and transition. And I'm still going to game. Still going to play 1v1 me. But besides that, this channel is going to be primarily college football content. And that's it. So basically the plan for today and each week is I'm going to do a predictions video. In the offseason, we're going to do recruiting. And then we're going to do best bets. And then at the end on Sundays, we're going to do a recapping the week video. So we're going to have probably 3 to 4 videos a week of ideas we're going to do. So yeah.
It'll be Wednesday, Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be Wednesday, Sunday. We'll probably have 3 to 4 videos. Live streams are going to be Wednesday and Sunday as well. We're going to do 2 live streams a week.
This week's different, though, because usually we'll recap the games on Sunday. But because this is the first episode, we're going to recap the games on Wednesday from last week. And then we're also going to talk about the games this week. And then me and Eli also are decent gamblers. And so we're going to give y'all 3 best bets a week on college football games, and y'all can take them. Don't have to, but we'll get into it from here.
All right, so basically we're going to recap last week's games. We're going to do mostly top 25 games and a few SEC games. So yeah, we decided we're going to start with Boise State and UNLV. UNLV wasn't a bad team going into this week. They were a decent Power 5 team, or non-Group of 5 team, coming in. Had lost their quarterback midway through the season, as everybody knows, due to NIL things. And I think it comes down to Boise State's going to be the team that's the Group of 5 getting into the playoff. There's no doubt about that to me. I think Ashton Jeanty is the best running back in college football. I think he's a generational type of player. I think that's just a known thing. And this was really a closer game than, not as close of a game as the scoreboard reflected. Still, I think it's a good win for Boise State going on the road. It's not really a tough environment, but I think whoever Boise State plays in the playoff is going to beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Luke.
That's all I would kind of say. I mean, UNLV, everyone, when their quarterback was set out with the NIL stuff, everyone was basically saying that this was going to be a huge hit on their season. But the backup guy that got coming in right now can really sling it. I think has a higher ceiling, or the team does, with this guy behind center. Obviously, I'm not a huge Group of 5 guy, but this was a great game to watch on Friday, so I enjoyed it. It's a good one.
So, going next, Penn State, Wisconsin. Now, this is one, I watched this game all Saturday, or late Saturday. I think Drew Aller doesn't give this team the best chance to win. I think it comes down to it. This backup, I think his name's Bo Fribula. He adds someone in the running game that Drew Aller just doesn't do. And it's a dimension that when we go into the Ohio State prediction, which we'll talk about more next week, biggest game of the season for both teams. If Ryan Day loses that game, he's on the hot seat. And I don't think Ryan Day's that good of a football coach. I think Penn State is under more of a thing than them. Yeah. So, Luke, you can talk more about this one.
So obviously in the second half they made the adjustment. I believe it was the second possession of the game. This was a classic Big Ten football game. I mean, field position played a heavy key in the game, heavy factor. And Wisconsin, I will say, I thought they had a pretty decent game plan in the first half of something about Penn State. They're like 100 in the far hundreds in starting field position per game, and Wisconsin did a great job of executing that strategy. As we know, Wisconsin's ability not to be able to throw the ball is it's if you've ever watched this team, their offense is a struggle to watch.
It's bad. It's really bad.
But in the second half, when they put in the running quarterback Bo, obviously the offense was moving very well. They have that thing at the goal line where they throw that tight end who's an ex-quarterback who's really good in the power game. Essentially, this was just a classic Big Ten football game, a game James Franklin always finds a way to win against lesser competition. And Luke Fickell, we'll go with the loser now. Luke Fickell, I think he's building a decent program out at Wisconsin. Again, they're going to have to improve their passing game. I think they're going to have to get a portal QB. Obviously, who was it, Van Dyke?
Yeah.
He got hurt against Bama, and I don't think he's back yet. But I mean, it was.
He's out for the year.
Yeah, they Wisconsin really did all they could. They were outmatched, but Penn State will have a test against Ohio State this weekend, and we know how James Franklin is against top 5 opponents. I believe he's 1-12. So until he proves me otherwise, I'm picking Ohio State, and I kind of disagree with Eli's.
We'll get
into that game, but
yeah. So next game, Nebraska Ohio State, and. Yeah, I got a lot to say about this one. Ohio State fans out there, y'all are shit. Y'all are terrible. Y'all aren't a good football team. I'm going to say it now. This is Ryan Day's last season at Ohio State. Ohio State's not a good football team. The offense is lackluster at best. The run game isn't what I expected.
Horrible. They have offensive line issues, especially at the tackle.
Yeah, their tackles are awful. The defense, just not what They've got a good defense. Caleb Downs is the best safety in the country. It comes down to, I don't think Ohio State's that good of a football team, but Dylan Raiola looked pretty good. I mean,
they used him in the run game.
Yeah, they used him in the run game. They were dropping back, playing a lot of man coverage, leaving the scrambles open for Raiola. I think it comes down to this, really, with Nebraska. Matt Rule, offensively, I mean, he plays in the 1980s. They're never going to be
Satterfield's the OC. If y'all don't know, Scott Satterfield was the OC at South Carolina. Marcus Satterfield was the OC at South Carolina, I believe, 2 years ago. And Carolina fans weren't upset with him going. And I'll keep it limited on Nebraska, but I think this was a real upward trajectory moment in their program. Obviously, as we know, they haven't been bowl eligible in, I believe,
like 4 years.
7 years.
No, 4.
They weren't eligible at all during the Frost era. So
it's probably like
6-7 years. And I think this team, I mean, they have a potential. Matt Rule's always going to get them playing defense, but Raiola, the current structure of the offense, its way it's set up, it's way too screen heavy, and I don't think Satterfield fits Raiola's capabilities.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think any team under Matt Rule offensively is not going to be great. They're going to be playing a lot of old school ass football. Going to be boring as hell. So let's get to the next one. Texas Vanderbilt.
Watch all of this.
I watched every single snap of this game. 2 picks by Ewers, 2 tip balls, 2 picks. They come out, win by 3. This game, the score doesn't show as Vanderbilt scored a touchdown late. It wasn't as close as the score depicted. I think Vanderbilt's a decent football team. Eventually, they just can't beat people when it comes down to the talent level. The fourth quarter, second half. Clark Lee's doing a hell of a job, though. Diego Pavia is an amazing quarterback. Texas, I don't know. I think they got a matchup with A&M left. That's going to be a hell of a game because I think the winner of that goes to the playoff. Winner of that goes to the SEC championship. So, I mean, it comes down to that game, the Texas A&M game. Texas's run game is not what I expected. I'll say that. But the Texas, they need to stick with Ewers. He's their quarterback. That's their guy. He's a better quarterback right now than Arch. There's no doubt in my mind. Vanderbilt, I mean, just outmatched. I mean, put up a hell of a fight, though. The Vandy team, I mean, they just can play until about the second half.
As far as it goes with Vanderbilt, under Tim Beck with the new offense, they've restructured where it's more of kind of an option look, kind of gimmicky, but it fits Vanderbilt perfectly. They're out there to control the clock. Again, as far as it comes to Texas, you can't really control the balls. The ball's tipped up in the air, and Vandy's really good at creating turnovers. But again, I think this is a good Texas team. I think this is more of a quality win than people are discussing. This is a good Vanderbilt team. I think Texas, I was just excited to see how they bounced back from Georgia, and they really came back strong. I have to respect Sarkisian, man. Like, Eli was hating on their running game against Georgia, but against Vanderbilt, I mean, they put it to him, man. I mean, Sarkisian leaned on the run game, and he said, I'm going to get physical, like what they did against Michigan earlier in the year, and he relied on the big boys, and I mean, again, that's a decent Vanderbilt defense. They create turnovers, but Texas is overall they outmatched Vanderbilt physically.
Yeah, like I said with Texas, the end of the year, they got a 1-game season coming up.
Yeah.
The SEC is looking for the playoff race. I mean, we'll get into the playoff a little bit later when we go into it. The SEC right now is it's going to be hard for the non-automatic bids.
Yeah.
It's going to be hell. But yeah, I don't even want to waste my time talking about Florida State. Florida State is a dumpster fire. It's pathetic right now. They did hit on the portal. I mean, Cam Moore.
I did want to talk about one thing in this game. It's not really on the field. It's what Mario Cristobal said at the post-game press conference, which I respect. He's trying to, Florida's a pipeline with recruiting, but, saying that this should show the trajectory of the programs, and that just, they could easily lose 3 games. They should have already lost 3 games this season. So it's like,
yeah. I mean, Baruso. I mean, I'll get into Colorado. I mean, I think I was wrong about Colorado. That
they're a good.
They're a good team. I mean, they went out. They made the playoff. I mean, I think it's simple as that. Travis Hunter's best player in football. I mean, like I said, Cam Moore, best quarterback in college football. I mean, you can debate me. His plays that he makes, I think, is better than Shedeur. Going in this next game, watched all of this game, too, the nightcap game.
LSU's still a good team.
Yeah,
bro.
LSU would still make the playoff.
I've never seen a game flip so quickly like this one did.
Yeah, I've never... Yeah.
I remember me and Eli, we were sitting down watching this game, and we were talking before the game, and I told him, and I love Garrett Nussmeier, but that guy's a gunslinger. So here's the thing, he threw for over 400 yards, and I think he's a really interesting prospect for the upcoming draft, but we're not even going to get into that. But he threw 3 interceptions, but the thing is, when you have that gunslinger mentality, it can win a lot of games for you, but it can get you in trouble.
Also, LSU can't run the ball.
Yeah, LSU cannot freaking run the ball to save their lives.
It's pathetically bad. So you're putting situations on Nussmeier. He's not Joe Burrow, bro. I mean, he's not gonna win you the game single-handedly. You can't just say you're gonna drop back, throw the ball, and he threw the ball 50 times and win us the football game. He's not that type of quarterback. I mean, he's really good.
Yeah,
he's a top 5 quarterback in the SEC, but he's not.
He needs help.
Yeah, he needs help.
As far as A&M, again, the farther we get out from the Missouri game where Connor Wigman played really, really well, the more it looks like it was just a fluke. I'm not going to lie. And I respect Elko for saying that. I believe it might have been a week after. There was a clip going around saying about how he still trusts Marcel Reed and all these things. But Marcel Reed came in this game after a turnover where they got the ball on the 10, 1-yard play, read option, he scores. And I think he threw the ball twice in this game.
3 times.
He
threw a 60-yard pass, like an 8-yard pass.
Yeah.
And they were doing a completion.
I mean, this guy, I think he gives A&M the best chance to win. But I feel like Wigman still needs to be involved because there is going to be a time where they're going to possibly need the arm of Connor Wigman. And again, this 2-quarterback system is kind of working for him. So, but props to...
No, I mean, I completely disagree. I mean, I think Connor Wigman shouldn't see the field the rest of the season.
We'll see.
I think he sucks. I think Marcel Reed is by far gives them a spark. I mean, you see when he gets put in the football game, the crowd's going wild. I mean, even the teammates on the sidelines are hyping him up because They're so sick of Wigman. They don't think Wigman deserves the job. Marshall Reed had some with the legs. Colin Klein, the offensive coordinator, that's his type of offense with a running quarterback, and that's what Marshall adds. Going to this BYU UCF game. I mean, UCF was favored. I was minus 3.5 for UCF. I took BYU because I was like, this line can't be right. I made some good money off that. I don't really know a lot about BYU. That's pretty much Notre Dame Navy. I mean, just a blowout. Notre Dame, it's ridiculous that you can lose to Northern Illinois at home and still make the college football playoff. But yeah, I really want to talk about this game. I think this one was the most impressive win of the week by any top 25 team. Winning with a backup quarterback.
Taven Jackson, shout out the boy.
From UT.
Taven Jackson, stud.
Rutgers would rip Tennessee into Rutgers' ass. I think that was the most impressive win of the week. Winning with a backup quarterback, all the lights on you. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say about that one. Missouri, Bama, I mean, you go.
I guess we'll start with the winners, bro. I guess I didn't really learn much from Alabama in this game. Missouri's a really bad team, and they can finish 10-2 still, which is insane. They're horrible. Missouri played with their QB1, Brady Cook, played the first quarter, and he was dealing with so many injuries, and then they put the backup in. But I didn't learn much about Alabama's defense. I still don't know if this Alabama team is really ready to beat a high-quality opponent, which they'll see in a couple of weeks.
Milroe's hurt, too.
And I feel like Milrose, I feel like he's banged up. They're not saying anything about it. This offense looked better, though, but, I mean, how much can you really take from this game? I don't really know. We'll see, though. The next real test comes against LSU, so that's
yeah, really. I mean, kind of going on that. I mean, Missouri's a bad football team. I don't think they're very good. I think Bama, I mean, this is kind of what I expected at Bama at the beginning of the season. Explosive offense, who's going to make explosive plays, and a defense who's going to do just enough. I don't really learn anything about Bama's defense. The last 2 weeks, I mean, I guess they shut out Tennessee, but, I'm not going to get into that. Tennessee missed a bunch of big plays. And Alabama still has tough games to play. They do. They have to go to death battle. I mean, they're playing an elimination game next week versus LSU. The winner of that will probably go to the playoff. I think Bama has LSU and some bad teams left. I mean, let me look to make sure. Yeah, I mean, they're not losing to any of these three.
Teams, yeah.
LSU's the last. Maybe at Oklahoma would be a little bit rough for them, but I don't think so. I think Bama wins out.
The final game is Oklahoma, Ole Miss. Okay, first off, I want to credit. People are like,
I took Oklahoma plus 17 in this game. I hit because let me tell you why. First of all, I tell you, I went like 6 for 7 this week. Let me tell you why. First of all, Oklahoma has a new offensive coordinator. They just fired theirs. I was like, you know what? They're going to score some more points. Ole Miss didn't learn anything from them. I think Ole Miss is a good football team. Ole Miss has a pretty cupcake schedule left, I believe, and they have Georgia left. So, yeah, that will be an elimination game. If Ole Miss loses that, they're out the playoff. So, yeah, they got to go beat Georgia on the road, but I just don't see that happening.
But I will have to credit Oklahoma. Oklahoma's bad. Like, they're a bad football team. The offensive line is horrible. I think they don't have their top 5 projected starting wide receivers. And so they're out there with straight walk-ons, and Jackson Arnold balled, man. Balled. With limited talent, they balled. And I have to say, I think this Oklahoma team could have a possibility somehow to make a bowl game with the remaining of their schedule, which is this team should not even touch 4 wins.
Yeah,
so people are going to hate on Brent Venables.
You said they're making a bowl game?
Yeah, they have they have Maine, and I think they could find a way to beat Missouri.
Yeah, and they might not make a bowl game. Wow.
But still, getting this team to 5 wins with this is a bad football team. So I have to give it to Brent Venables.
SMU Duke.
So
I mean, didn't really watch this one. Can't really talk much about it.
SMU turned it over 6 times and still won.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that shows a lot about SMU. The ACC is a deadlocked race because SMU has no conference losses, Clemson has no conference losses, and Pitt has no conference losses. But that will kind of even itself out as Pitt and SMU play each other this week in a big one. So let's get into this week, though. We're going to do some predictions, some best bets, talk a little bit more in detail. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the top 25. Missouri versus Oklahoma is interesting. Missouri is trash. Don't think Missouri is a very good football team. So I'm going to start the YouTube video. I'll talk to the chat, too, while I do this. but I'm going to start the YouTube video for this one, but I'm going to do a little intro real quick. Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's Twins College Football Show here, and we're going back today with Week 10 predictions for college football, and we will be getting into the Penn State-Ohio State game and some SEC games. So, yeah, let's get right into it. So, we're going to start right off with it with Penn State-Ohio State. Luke, you go on ahead and start.
There is, obviously we know Penn State's, we don't know about who they're going to start with. It's going to be Drew Allard or the backup. I'll tell you, though, I think there is a world where the backup runner, I think Bo, I believe, I cannot, his last name.
Fibula,
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, his last name is escaping me. There's a possibility that for this game, that he might be the best option. The reason I say this is I don't really feel like this is a high scoring football game. I feel like there's a solution out there where this game could be in the low teens, maybe early 20s, and a James Franklin game to win. And if this game gets in the high 30s, you might need someone like Drew Allard for the shootout. But I feel like this is definitely a game where maybe James Franklin can find a way to really grit it out and make it a special teams football game. But we'll see. As far as Ohio State, this defense is really good. Jim Knowles does a great job.
Yeah.
This offense is suspect, man. They have tackle issues at the left tackle and the right tackle. Will Howard's been really good through the air today.
He was great last week.
And obviously he's coming back to Penn State this week, and that'll be a story. But
he played at Kansas State last season.
Yeah, he played it.
Not Kansas State. Yeah.
I swear he played at Penn State.
It was Kansas State. But, yeah, going back into that, I think there's a game where that Penn State...
Oh, no, he was a Penn State fan.
Penn State fan.
Growing up. That's what it was. That's
Penn State fan. Yeah, I think this one comes down to this. There's way more pressure on Ryan Day than James Franklin. If James Franklin loses this football game, it's what? Oh, he lost another one.
He's top 5.
He's 1-13 now.
Yeah. Who cares?
Ryan Day, he loses this one. He's facing the possibility of elimination.
Yeah.
And I think that's the end of him at Ohio State if he doesn't win this game.
I agree.
I think, like I said, there's a world where Drew Allard out there not playing helps Penn State. I think maybe the more athletic quarterback, maybe just in a world, helps them. I like Ohio State -3.5 this week. That's one of my best bets. I think Ohio State's going to beat them. Talking more about Ohio State, though, very disappointing. The O-line is pathetic.
Horrible.
Piss. Not the worst $20 million roster I've ever seen in college football because, I guess they're the best, but they're the only one ever. I think Will Howard's been great. I think this one comes down to a big noon kickoff. Hate it. There should never be a game like this wide out at 12 o'clock. This game should be played at 7. I think all of college football fans could agree with that one. Score prediction, I'm going to go Ohio State 24, Penn State 17. I just don't see Penn State being able to throw the football on Ohio State. I don't think they're going to do enough to win this football game. I think Quinshon Judkins is going to ball. I think it's about time he breaks out in the Ohio State uniform. I think Ryan Day, they're in wounded animal mode. They need this one more than Penn State needs this one.
Yeah.
And being at Penn State, though, it's a possibility they win this football game. Luke, you got anything more to say?
I share the same sentiment. I personally believe this is Ohio State 28, Penn State 10. This just doesn't feel like a James Franklin game to win. He's going to have to prove me wrong, being 1-12 against top 5 opponents. It's just it's show me, honestly. If there is a game, in the deck of cards, there's a way Penn State wins this game. Until it happens, I just don't see it. This Penn State offense is not explosive enough, even with Drew Allard out there. I just don't find a way for them to be able to score on this Ohio State defense. But vice versa, that could happen for Ohio State. But I have Ohio State 28, Penn State 10.
Yeah, going into Duke, Miami, as you see here, Miami's defense is awful. There's always a world that they lose. I think this game is in Miami. So, I think Miami wins this football game. I think, even though their defense is awful, Miami's playing a one-game season. It's a possibility that Miami doesn't make the playoff
with one loss,
and that being the Clemson or Pitt or SMU, whoever makes the ACC title game and not make the college football playoff. But I think Cam Ward is a hell of a player. Besides that, I think their defense is awful. It reminds me a lot of 2022 Tennessee. So, yeah. Luke?
Nah, I'm good on
You're good on this one? Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss, Arkansas, I think this one's an interesting one.
I'll kind of get
you go on
into
this
it.
one.
With Ole Miss,
It's in Fayetteville.
Arkansas is a good football team. Do not let this game slide by you as being a game that you're not looking forward to this weekend. Arkansas is a great offensive team. I believe they've gone over 600 yards of total offense 3 or 4 times. Obviously, they got
Bobby
Bobby.
pissed out of Mississippi State last
Yeah,
week.
obviously.
They're a bad football
Yeah,
team.
they're bad, but obviously they have Bobby Petrino as the OC, and they've done a really good job of revamping the offense with Green. And Bobby Petrino loves those tall and lanky quarterbacks, and as we saw with Ryan Mallett in his tenure. And I feel like Arkansas, with the running game, with their ability to throw it, I think Arkansas finds a way to be able to manufacture enough points on this Ole Miss defense that has been really, really good. This Ole Miss offense has struggled. This is not a Lane Kiffin offense. It's very much reminds me of what Tennessee's dealing with on offense this year. They just can't get it going in a consistent fashion.
When do you think you'd say we'd be worrying about Ole Miss's offense?
Yeah.
I mean, I never thought I'd say that.
But their D-line is gross.
Yeah, I think...
but again, I have Arkansas 35, Ole Miss 31.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take Arkansas here, too. I think they win again in Fayetteville. It's hard to play there. It's not an easy place to play. I think it's one of the most underrated environments in college football. I think if Ole Miss loses this game, they're done for the rest of the season. They're going to check out. They don't care.
And then
they built their whole roster around the season.
Yeah, and then the rumors of him going to Florida.
Yeah, I'm going to take Arkansas in this one as well, 28-24. I mean, we're not going to talk about this game.
Or that game.
Or this one.
Or that one.
We can talk about Oregon, Michigan a little bit. Michigan went back to Davis Warren last week. Michigan is going to have to change something in the offseason. Sherrone Moore is going to have to take a look at himself in the mirror and decide what type of football team do they want to be. Do they want to keep playing in the Harbaugh era, or do they want to open up the offense and actually play football? I just think Sherrone Moore was not qualified for this job. I don't think he was ready for this job. I think it was he gets the job because he won as the OC and we just won the national championship. Kind of diving into Oregon a little bit, Dylan Gabriel's been outstanding, one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Jordan James from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, has been balling. I think Oregon is going to win this game by double digits at least. I mean, it's in Ann Arbor, but I think Michigan's checked. So I'll go Oregon 35, Michigan 10. That Michigan offense is awful. Luke.
Yeah, that's you covered it, man.
So
I'll go into this.
This
game.
one's a little bit bigger. Worse, the travesty about this game is played at a neutral site. It's stupid. Neutral site games.
Ban neutral site games. They suck. But I saw something today that they're having to move it somewhere else to play.
Atlanta.
Yeah. Atlanta for that perfect opportunity for these games to be at the college campuses respectively, but I'm not going on that tangent. Okay, so obviously we know Graham Mertz is out for the season and Florida started DJ Lagway. Listen, Florida is not a bad football team. They've lost to Miami, Tennessee, and A&M, right?
I think A&M.
Yeah, Miami, Tennessee, and A&M. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Miami, Tennessee, and A&M. This is a good football team. They're underrated. They're sneaky. But, again, we're playing Georgia. This defense for Georgia, outside of the Alabama game, I thought Kirby Smart has really done a great job of... He doesn't have the talent and depth that he's had in the last couple of years, but he's done a really good job of putting his players in positions to succeed on the defensive end of the ball. And, again, Billy Napier's on the hot seat. This game maybe could get him off, and with the rest of their schedule, you're staring down the barrel at 5-7, 6-6. DJ Lagway, I hope he has
that good... Florida State game looks better though now to win.
Yeah. If you could, there's a possibility for six wins for Florida. Again, I just don't see this being a close game. Georgia's beat Florida by 20 plus every time in the Napier era, and until then, I don't see a way where Florida's able to sustain enough offense to score on this Georgia defense. 35-10.
Yeah,
Georgia.
I mean, I don't really disagree with anything you said. Carson Beck has got to limit the turnovers, man. It's pathetic at this point. He has almost 10 picks. Yeah, I know. He hasn't played well this season. Trevor Etienne, not been what I expected. I think Georgia has the potential off this Texas win to go back and, as much as I hate the Dogs, I'm a Tennessee fan, to win the college football playoff. I mean, I think they're the favorites right now, no doubt. I think Florida's going to cover this, though. I'm going to go Georgia 27, Florida 14. I think this
Florida has the most difficult schedule I've seen in my life. Billy Napier is he's fighting for his job, governor. But the thing is, it's just with Billy Napier. I mean, the resources and everything are there to win. It's just not happening. So
I think they have the right staff in place.
Yeah,
I think there's pieces of the staff, or pieces. The right things are put into place to win there. It's not like they need a whole culture rebuild or they need to start from the ground up. They have the places that are ready and pieces that are ready to be there. They just need the right coach to get there, and Florida will be back. So that's all I got for that one. Going down to, these are two good games. We got three more left. Well, four more. Texas A&M, South Carolina.
Look, I think we just do. I don't care about Louisville, Clemson, to be honest, but I think we just do. We don't have time. We'll this will be the last one.
We'll do Tennessee, Kentucky.
Yeah, Tennessee, Kentucky, because I go to Tennessee. But all right, so A&M, South Carolina. Obviously, we already talked about Marcel Reed earlier and how he injected life into this offense. Obviously, he's probably going to get the start this week. My thing is, this South Carolina defensive line is grown men. This is a good football
team. They play good assignment football on defense.
This is a good football team. I don't really know how they're going to be able to just straight pound the rock like they did against the LSU defense, against the South Carolina defense. They're disciplined, they're old, they're smart. Again, South Carolina, when you move to their offensive end of the ball, the worry with South Carolina this year is being able to throw the ball. You know, they have Lenore Sellers, a QB who's developing as a passer. Not a guy who you really want dropping back 25.
You give South Carolina a good quarterback, they're a 6-1 football team.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing about it. Rumors about Shane Bieber going to Oklahoma. I don't think that's true, and I think that'd be a big mistake for Oklahoma. The line on this one confuses me, 2.5, and this is going to be my second best bet along with Ohio State -3 is Texas A&M -2.5. I think that team's pumped up to play for Marcel Reed. I think they figured out something. I think Texas A&M is a top 2 team in the SEC. I think Georgia and Texas A&M are the best football teams in the SEC, no doubt. I think that not only A&M covers, but they win by 2 scores. I'm going to go A&M 28, South Carolina 14.
I have A&M 27, South Carolina 24. So I still have A&M winning the game.
In covering,
yeah. In covering.
We're not going to get Louisville Clemson. Kind of going into it a little bit. Cade Klubnik, their offenses look great. Until they play somebody, I don't really know. They haven't played a ranked team besides Georgia, so I'm not going to get into that. But Kentucky, Tennessee, I mean, I'm a Tennessee fan. Huge.
Does Connor Wigman not give A&M the best chance to win? Marcel Reed is nice, especially in college client offense, but A&M has a chance. Listen, so I personally am under the belief that Connor Wigman is going to have to be used at the rest of this year, but I feel like Marcel Reed fits way more into Klein's offense. Like when he was at Kansas State, he's used to when he was the OC, he's used to dealing with that more running style game. And even him, he was a running quarterback. So I think they're going to need Wigman at some point of this year.
I think the team likes Marcel Reed.
Yeah,
they rally behind Marcel Reed. I think that is the team's guy, and when it goes. Sometimes, man, the better player... Wegman's probably the better overall quarterback. But Marcel Reed is I watched him in high school. He's a hell of a competitor, and he is a winner. That dude is a winner. He won 3 state championships in high school. Some guys just know how to win. But, yeah, getting into the Kentucky-Tennessee game, a little bit, Nico... I mean, eventually this offense has to click. I mean, I feel like we are a few plays away from being electric. Yeah, this defense is incredible. I mean, this is the best defense in the country. You can't tell me otherwise. They haven't allowed 20 points all season. We get the offense together, and this is a football team that's dangerous. I think we can go into Athens, beat them. Kentucky, kind of talking about them a little bit. Don't really know who's going to be starting at quarterback this week, whether it's going to be Vandergriff or the other guy. I don't know his name. I mean, he's not very good, so...
Oh, it's a transfer from Rutgers.
Yeah, transfer from...
He started third. He's interception prone, not running quarterback. Not very good.
Yeah. I think this is an awful environment for Kentucky. I think they quit. I think they don't give a shit about the rest of the season. I think that football team is defeated. Mark Stoops is on the hot seat. I think Tennessee covers this game. I think we win 34-17. Not 34-17, 34-10. I think even 10 points is going to be a good struggle for Kentucky. But, Luke, I mean, you've gone ahead.
Yeah, watching this Kentucky offense actually is painful. It's like, getting a million paper cuts in the arm. They're horrible offensively. It seems like kind of a staple under the Stoops era of just not being able to have a modern offense. Well, besides that outlier year in 2017 with Terry Wilson. But this Kentucky team as a whole, the defense is a above average defense, but the offense is horrible. Vandergrift looks awful. They really have a hard time scoring in the red zone. Really time getting anything consistent. As far as Tennessee,
I hate Kentucky so bad. Yeah. And I'm a Tennessee.
As
I hate
far
them.
as Tennessee, y'all, this is not an average Tennessee team. What you're used to of scoring high caliber points under the hype layer. This is a team. I think honestly, Eli's talking about getting the offense clicking. I just don't think that's really what's going to happen. This is just a team that waits for the defense to make their breaks and capitalize. For that reason, I really don't see this being a breakout game for Tennessee's offense. They're just going to rely on Dylan Sampson.
Just enough.
And hope Nico makes a couple throws. So for that reason, I got Tennessee 27, Kentucky 3. Still with the Tennessee cover. That's my best bet of the week is Tennessee minus 16.5. Nealon's going to be rocking.
So yeah, to go over his best bet is Tennessee minus 16.5. My two best bets are Texas A&M minus 2.5 on the road versus South Carolina, and Ohio State minus 3.5 on the road at Penn State. Yeah, I mean, this is the first episode of the Twins College Football Show. Can't wait to be back. We're going to do live streams Wednesday and Sunday, maybe Monday, multiple videos a week. I hope y'all keep tuning into the channel.
But we'll be back Sunday for the recap of these games. Make sure y'all do follow us on all the socials because we tweet during the games.
Yeah, go share this out to your friends, everybody you know. Can't wait to keep doing this. I'm excited. We got a lot in store. So yeah, peace.